just keep getting better. They have no choice but to get better. You maintain that speed, and the quality will be there sooner or later.
That consistency.
Yeah.
I think of is it Stejic or Stejic? He's the guy that
Stefan
does.
Stejic?
Yes, Stefan Stejic, and he is insane. He does the work he did a Rat Queens issue, and then he's also done his own personal stuff, Shinies, and then he's been on the Witchblade.
It was Witchblade, and then
Switch.
It's Twitch or Switch?
I think it's Switch.
Switch.
And then just like so many, like his art, he's done a couple pieces for a lot of stuff for DC, but he's just got this gorgeous style, very painterly, and he cranks it out in no time. Yeah. I mean, it's so impressive to see what he can do in so little time. And I think that's just because he does. I mean, he and his wife both work in comics, and they both have this, this era of, okay, we just gotta keep going. And it's only made him better, so case in point.
So, I also think, to add on to what Dan was saying, is that Alan, Carrie, and I have also, we're masochists. And we will impose external deadlines on ourselves. So we'll actually make some sort of deadline, and let's say it could be we're going to travel to this convention by March, or we're going to go to this animation festival by December. And I think having that external goal, we're like, okay, we already bought the ticket. We already bought the
we better get this shit done.
plane fare. It's gonna get done. And I forgot what it was, but it's like once you set a deadline, you'll find some way to meet that deadline if it's important enough to you, and if there's enough pressure. Because at least for me personally, just setting that personal deadline for myself, it's not enough because there's no consequence. But if I were to commit to promising our fans that we're going to release episode 1 on July 25th, or we're going to do that, or go to a convention or whatever,
or get a book published or something like that, we have to mean it.
We have to follow through with it, or else the consequences, we just delegitimize ourselves, or we just wasted a ton of money, So I think that is also a pretty good tactic that we've stuck to.
I think the biggest thing is honesty. I'll let y'all, speaking from the real, true selves of who you are.
Yeah.
And I think that's why anybody would jump on ship, say, "Cool, Carrie, tell me what to do. I'll do it for you." Yeah. Awesome. I don't know how many podcasts and conversations you've had, interviews. This one, what I'm hearing is exactly what we're about. Want to know the inner workings, the real deal, the real life stuff that artists and creators go through, and to make things happen. That's it. The truth.
Yep.
A lot of passion, a lot of hard work.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So we're gonna just finish off by saying we went through the summer, the hiatus. The Midnight Run went through. Did you get a lot of feedback from the fans saying they love it?
Actually, yes. They loved seeing Kamikaze in action. They do like Flair.
They were ready to see something. Her do something.
They want to see the suit. They want to see Markeisha doing her thing as as who she is as Kamikaze. And I think that's one of the biggest draws is that this person's powerful. You want to see them be powerful, and because of the storyline that we have, we don't really like that whole idea of okay, I'm a superhero now and I know exactly what to do. Markeisha is going to have to go through some training. There's going to be points where you have to kind of deal with the gravity of what you're about to do. And I feel like that's something that isn't very well explored, and that's something we do want to explore with her. So because of that, we don't get to see her in action as we'd like to, and that's why we started doing Midnight Run, and why we're hoping to continue doing more Wall Tales, which is what we're calling the short hiatus posts.
And is that going to happen every 30 weeks because 30 pages... That's 30 minutes, or do you have a schedule in mind?
The current schedule that we've been kind of thinking of is between each episode. So,
And how long the episode's going to be? Is that going to be 30 weeks?
it
Or how many?
depends.
So the first episode was 80 pages.
80?
No, it's 86 pages long.
Yeah.
So that's
But-
86 weeks? That was not 86 weeks.
No,
we released the first 22 all at once.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
okay.
episode 1.
Okay.
And then we also, anytime we have a splash page, we release the splash and whatever comes before or after it.
Oh, okay.
But I also feel like, since, we're definitely at a different skill level when we, versus what we did when we started episode 1. I think we have discovered more, like, economic ways of conveying certain things. So I think, I would be surprised if it was 80 pages, but it is going to be long. And we've been experimenting with maybe releasing a hiatus story in the middle of it or after the end. Like, we're still exploring what
You're checking on Dan's and Lisa's and Janelle's schedule.
We've already got
Like,
it.
when can we kidnap you? There's no.
Yeah, luckily we already have a script from that.
Oh, you already.
Dan is quick, dude.
Yeah.
Quick. He's super
He's
quick.
showing
Yeah.
us up.
And then we've also got another writer, a friend of mine, who is like, oh my gosh, I want to be part of this too. So writers, we have plenty of. It's more artists that we got to get a hold of.
Oh, yeah?
So, that's going to be fun. But I think I actually wouldn't mind Lisa taking full on.
Her own team.
Not even her.
Picking up her own team.
Well, but I wouldn't mind her
Oh.
doing the artwork for one of these wall tales, especially since her style would really fit with a specific character we have in mind for.
And you know what I like is that I like what happened here is that the art is Janelle's art and it has the same theme and look, but the style is different than the normal, right?
And yes,
And so then you can you can kind of get a visual from different types of artists.
yeah, and I think that's one of the
work.
things that we really wanted to do with the wall tales was that we want to showcase artwork of people who are passionate, people we like, people who are talented. And to give them a chance to play in our world. And because that's one of the things that a lot of people just keep coming to us about is the fact that, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. The world's so big. There's so much you could do. These characters so cool. Please let me do something with it. And it's just like, okay, go play in our sandbox. We're not,
See what you got.
Yeah, see what you got. And they always, at least for the first time, I mean... I think this is a damn good.
High standard.
It's pretty good.
bar has been set.
And it's worked out. Look at Janelle. He is feeling good. He gonna fly home. He gonna leave your car here tonight. He gonna glide his way to the house. And I think that's like you have really made it work. There's a trial and error in anything, and you've gotten through your trials, and you're able to convey the right culture to the next batch of artists and next batch writers, and moving on. All right, so episode 2 has started.
Episode 2 has started, yes. And we are actually into the artwork for Act. We break down all of our episodes into 5-act structures. Act 0 and ending at Act 4. Kind of bizarre, but that's how we work.
That is crazy.
But we are already into the artwork for Act 1, which is really fun. So that's been amazing to see come to life. And it's so nice to be way ahead of the game for once.
Right. And the hiatus helps a little bit.
The hiatus helped so much. These guys have probably made us, we would have gone insane, I think, if we didn't have these guys helping us out over the summer. So, yeah. And the fans loved it. I mean, they really enjoyed it. They were always just oohing and awing over, especially the splash page where Marquesha's in the suit and it's activated. They loved this page with Flair getting, shot.
Yeah, I will say there was one fan who wasn't sure about the change. Like she wasn't like convinced of the art change all of a sudden. But then like when she got to the to page 8 where Flair actually gets electrocuted, she was like, okay. I see where you're going with this. Like, it's kind of cool to see the suit in action.
Yeah.
And then she like reread the Midnight Run, and enjoyed it immensely.
And also on the coloring front, like I had talked to Carrie a long time ago, it's the cell shaded style. I was like, should I go with this? Should I mimic the cell shading? Because I've done it in the past where it's like the editor or the writer is like, oh yeah, I want to aim for this, like, you know, take it into consideration. But when I started trying to cell shade or do anything like that for Jamel, his just screamed comic coloring. So I was just like, no, sorry, I gotta do comic because that's what he does.
And it works great, and it looks amazing. So I mean, I think you know,
you do your thing.
You do your thing, girl. We trust you. We trust our highest team.
You are super fun to color, though.
Aw, look at them. They're so
we
cute.
bonded.
Poor Dan's just in the middle of the bonding, like.
What? I'm part of the bonding. I'm the quiet part of the bonding.
Yeah, I know.
So what's on track for Kamikaze? Because you're working on still doing the weekly run while you're exploring not just Netflix but any opportunity to animate it.
Yeah.
So do you have like a script for if an animation comes through? You ready to pitch a script?
Scripts
Are you ready
done.
to?
The script for the first and second episode are completely finished.
You're working on episode 3.
I'm working on episode 3 right now. I'm not going as well as I wanted it to, but that's the way it is.
But
hey,
you're for
you
real.
said the sand, dude. The sand.
So just look at it as dumping sand into the
Okay, dumping sand.
Don't worry about the castles. Just get the sand.
Get
in
the
there.
sand.
You're like one of the 7 sages.
Repeat it.
But so we're working on the 3rd script, and it's just we have the pitch packet ready. We have the everything that might be needed for somebody. If Cartoon Network knocked on our door tomorrow and said, "Hey, we want to make Kamikaze," I'd say, "Okay, let's go through this. Here's all the information you need. Here's the script. Let me give you 2 hours to read over everything, talk over everything, and then we'll meet for coffee."
Would she be that calm, though?
No.
On the outside, yes. On the inside,
Yeah, that's what I meant.
on the
Carrie's
inside, I would be like hyperventilating.
Yeah, I was like,
And then I might have to
she'd
change
have to call all of
my
us.
pants.
After she
Basically, all the pre-production work is
Sure. What
but
about
like for 2016? So one thing that we learned in 2015 is that conventions really work wonders for us.
Yes,
I feel
they
like they've been really successful to us. But the one thing that people keep asking us is like, "Oh, do you have a book to sell? Can I buy the comic?"
Yeah, so
Our biggest goal right now is to go ahead and get a printed book done. We have no ETA right now for that, but that's definitely coming in 2016.
just working it into the plans, into your schedule.
Yeah.
So, and one last question about if the writing or the animation path. Do you have a budget? Do you know the type of budget you would be requiring to?
I've been
make it work?
talking since we are in animation, my husband and I, have our basis and footing in animation. We do know a couple producers, production companies, who are either local or nearby. Many of which have said, if you can get funding for this, we want to do it. Which is really cool when you have, an animation director who's worked on, God knows what, say, if you get the funding to pay me, I want to do it.
And when they say if you can get the funding, did they give you like a range of where that is?
Yeah, they basically say, they'll give you a range of, because most production houses actually have a set amount of, this is how much it is per minute, or how much it is per second of film.
Really?
So finished animation. And
that's some real specific stuff.
It's incredibly specific because it has to be.
Right.
So the cheapest I've found, if you want to go cheap, would be about $5,000 for a 30-second thing.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's pretty crazy. But the quality that we would need would cost that much.
I was thinking that because you want to follow a certain style, a certain look, and it's a high standard.
Yeah, exactly. So and I think that's one of the things that makes us a little nervous. Makes some of the production folks that are TV folks that see our stuff, they love it. They think it's amazing, but they're like, this is going to be expensive as hell. And that can be really scary. And I definitely understand that, especially when you've got smaller and smaller budgets and you're expected to do more and more with it. The stuff that looking at like things like Venture Brothers, or even Rick and Morty that has been out. You've got these great shows that have good ideas, but the